3. In this chapter, we meet Marcus Sextus and Davus. Marcus Sextus and Davus. New singular and plural nouns and adjectives. So, once again, just distinguishing between singular and plural. And then later on in the chapter, you have Roman dress, which I'm not going to cover. Basically, what Romans wore, togas and tunics and things like that. These videos are strictly intended to help out with the exercises and the grammar of Latin in Ecce Romani. So, once in a while, maybe I'll throw in a video about cultural stuff or Roman civilization, but for the most part, I'm going to try to stick to just the exercises because I think that's usually the challenging part. The civilization stuff is, the fun part, but the part where students typically need help is the grammar. So, notice the picture. We have Davos, who is a British slave, obviously a little bit miffed, but a little bit angry about the boys. We are now inside the house, even though it sort of looks outside. One of the cool things about Roman villas is that they have this room in the house, which is sort of an indoor-outdoor room. So it's like an open roof. It's called a peristelium, and usually there are like columns and it's like a courtyard, but surrounded by columns or statues and some kind of an indoor-outdoor, well, like a garden really, and also maybe like a fountain or like a small pond of some kind, like a fish pond. And that's what we see in this chapter here. We have Sextus and Marcus running around in the villa, and we see that they have toppled or pushed over what looks like a statue here. And Davos, therefore, who is a slave, is forced to probably have to clean up after them. So obviously, this is why he's a little PO'd at them. Well, let's take a look at the story in the garden. I'm going to just read the first paragraph, especially for virtual high school students who have to read these out loud to get their pronunciation correct. I think that is sort of an important part. It's a secondary thing, but it's an important part of internalizing Latin is to read it out loud and develop a sense of it in your ears and in your mouth. So I'll read the first paragraph. In pictura est puer Romanos, nomine Marcos, qui in villa rustica habitat. Etiam in pictura est alter puer, nomine Sextus, qui in eadem villa rustica habitat. Marcus et Sextus sunt amici. Hodie pueri in horto clamant et rident, quod laeti sunt. So I think that some of these words will look familiar, but if you're paying attention, you're going to notice that they have different endings. Let's see an example here. Marcos et Sextus sunt amici. In the last chapter, you had Flavia et Cornelia sunt amicae. That was spelled Amicae, but now we have this ending here, this long I, and this is pronounced amici. Maybe actually, I'm going to change this. I just realized this is old. So, accessory. Just quick note about pronunciation. Amici and amicae. And that kind of seems like they should be opposites, but this, especially if it's a long I, I'm going to put in here, a long whoops, there it is, amici. It's like me, key, like that, amici. And this one would be more me, kai. How do I say that? Kai, amici. Oh, like this. Amic. How about this? Amic I. Like that, right? So that AE has the I sound in classical pronunciation, and the long I has the E sound. So anyway, what we're up against here now is the difference between feminine nouns and masculine nouns. Now, Marcus and Sextus are obviously boys, and since they're male masculine things, and that goes for a variety of things, not just people. You'll see Latin has gender or masculinity and femininity for all kinds of things that you would never think. Well, a fish pond is feminine, of course, right? But that is the way it is. They have a gender for every noun in existence. So Marcus and Sextus are friends, but they're masculine friends, so they're not a Mikai, they're a Miki. And they are also laiti. They are happy, right? Today the boys shout in the garden and laugh because they are happy. So Cornelia and Flavia were laitai, A-E, but Marcus and Sextus are happy laiti. So that's my quick note for that. I'll translate the first paragraph. I already have done some of it, but let's take a look at that. In the picture, now again, don't write in picture is Roman boy. You supply articles, words like the, or an, depending on the situation. We supply those. We use those in English, but they don't use them in Latin. But they still need to be put in English. That's a common problem that students forget to insert there. The articles, these little words that we use in English that are not used in Latin. So in the picture is a Roman boy named Marcus, or Marcus by name, who lives in the country house and farm, the Villa Rustica. Etiam pictura, also in the picture, is alter. Alter puer. In the last chapter, we had altera puella for Flavia, a second girl. But here we just have alter puer, a second boy or another boy, named Sextus, who lives in the same. Eadem is, where is it? Eadem is right here. Eadem is the same country house and farm. Marcus and Sextus are friends. Today, the boys are shouting or shout in the garden, and they are laughing, and they laugh because they are happy. Sunt laiti, laiti sunt. They are happy. So here, this is what I was referring to before. You see how this word is not bolded, so you're not expected to remember the same the Latin word for the same, but you are expected to remember that when you see eadem, it means the same. So you memorize it one way from Latin to English, but not necessarily the other way around. Whereas all these bold words, you really should know both ways. What's the word for angry? The word is eratus, or erata if it's a feminine subject. What's the word for alone? Solus or sola. So all the bold words, you want to know both ways. Piscinam, fish pond, not as critical a word, but all these bold words are considered important enough to remember both from English to Latin and Latin to English. Okay, so we'll do a couple of questions from exercise 3A now. Quis est sextus? We may remember quis means who. Quis est sextus? We're going to answer that we'll start with sextus est. Or we could save that verb until the end, we'll say. Who is Sextus? Sextus is, who is Sextus? Okay, how can we? There's no clear way from the story. There's no sentence you can necessarily copy out that I can see right off the top of my head here, or just by reading it quickly. But Sextus, you could say Sextus est puer Romanus, just as Marcus is a puer Romanus, right? In pictura est puer Romanus, a Roman boy. Remembering again, noun, then adjective. We would say Romanus puer, we would say Roman boy, but again, the Romans say puer Romanus, a boy, Roman. And then if we wanted to get more fancy, we could say Sextus est puer Romanus qui habitat in villa in well, no, I don't. I think that's probably about as far as we can go there, and that should be a long A, like that. And that would be a reasonable answer for number one. Suntne. Now we see the note down here. This is number two. Suntne Marcos et Sextus amici. When you this ne gets attached to the first word in a question typically, and it shows that a yes or no question is being asked. And then of course you have the answers to that question, either no or yes. Now, the temptation is going to be: are the question is asking, are Marcus and Sextus friends? And the answer is, of course, ita vero, yes. But I'd like you to write out not only ita vero, but ita vero Marcus et Sextus sunt amici. And that, again, could also be written as amici sunt. Yes, Marcus and Sextus are friends. Number 3, quid faciunt pueri hodie? We remember that quid faciunt means what are so and so doing. So the question is asking, what are the boys doing today? And we'll answer this the same way we did for Cornelia and Flavia. Hodie pueri. Today the boys, what are they doing? Oh, there it is right there. Hodie pueri in horto clamant et rident, quod laeti sunt. So again, that means today the boys are shouting in the garden and they are laughing because they are happy. So if you want to keep it simple here, hodie pueri in horto clamant. Notice again that nt, because the boys is plural. So they're shouting in the garden et rident. So this literally means today the boys are shouting and laughing in the garden, and that would be a fine answer for that number 3 there. You don't even need this quod laeti sunt. You can add it on if you want to, but this would be sort of like maybe a bare minimum for number 3. Okay, that's as far as I'll go with 3A. I think for virtual high school, this chapter assigns 3A, 3C, and 3E, so you'll see videos for 3C and 3E following this.